Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm here live at the Baseball Diamond at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I'm here to bring you live coverage of this high school baseball contest between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Natick High Redhawks. Beautiful day for baseball, a little dry. During warm-ups, you could see the dust on the infield kicking up an awful lot. But overall, pretty nice weather day for baseball. A little on the hotter side, but overall a nice looking day. As you can see, the teams are still warming up, just waiting to get this started. Originally, we were slated for a 3:45 start time, but that didn't end up happening. Natick got here a little later than expected, and so we're headed for a later starting time than was originally intended. While we wait, we'll take a look at the two teams' lineups. We'll start with the visitors from Natick. For the Redhawks, leading off, the shortstop, number 9, Thomas O'Keefe. Batting second, the center fielder, number 7, Mike Gwinney. In the third spot, the pitcher, number 19, Carter Duran. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 34, Brendan Rodman. In right field, number 13, Sean Griglowitz will be batting fifth. And then batting sixth, the catcher, number 32, Henry O'Connor. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 1, Jack Byrne. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 3, Noah Sneed. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 6, David Puigbo. And then only playing defense today, the third baseman, number 22, Anton Ciccarelli. So that's your starting lineup for the visiting Redhawks. Now, as teams seem to be heading towards the last stages of their warm-ups, we move on to the Brookline roster. Starting for the Warriors, at the leadoff spot, the center fielder, number 2, Owen Roach. Batting second, the shortstop, number 8, Rocco Shorgy. Batting third, the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. In the cleanup spot, the first baseman, number 10, Eli Rothman. Batting fifth and playing right field today, number 18, Matt Richardson. In left field and batting sixth, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. Batting seventh will be the third baseman, number 21, Jake Levin. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 19, James Erickson. Although looking at the warm-ups back when Brookline's fielders were out on the field, I think Erickson might be wearing number 24, so I'll double-check that as the game goes on. But wrapping out the batting order and taking the mound to start for today will be number 15, Jack Martell. Brookline in pretty much permanent must-win mode. They are 0-9 on the season thus far, still looking for that elusive first win. They've had struggles on both ends of the ball overall this season. Consistently struggled defensively. They've given up at least 6 runs in every single game thus far. While offensively, they have only managed more than 1 run in 5 of their 9 games thus far. 5 of their 9 games thus far, but only more than 2 runs on 4 occasions, and only more than 3 runs on 3 different occasions. Certainly a fair amount of struggles for this Brookline team. It's been a tough season, but they continue to persevere and come back to the diamond for another go. Looking at their most recent results, the last time I was out here at Warren Field, I was working with ASPN HD with Arlen Shostak and broadcasting alongside the veteran broadcaster John Leahy. We came out here on May 19th to cover the game against Walpole. Walpole, a bit of a powerhouse program, and they proved it in that game with a 5-inning, 12-0 win over the Warriors. Since then, the Warriors have gone out onto the road against Framingham and lost 9-5, and then hosted Braintree 2 days ago on Monday and lost that contest 8-0. So it'll be interesting to see what Brookline brings for us here today, as we see the Natick fielders are wrapping up their warm-ups. As you can see as I pan around, beautiful day for baseball here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Once again, my name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, here to bring you live coverage of this high school baseball contest. As we wait for the warm-ups to finish and the game to get underway, I'm going to take a short mute break, but I will be back with the start of this ball game, so be sure to stay tuned. And I'm back. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and I am here live at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, here to bring you this high school baseball contest between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Natick High Redhawks. You can see the Warriors taking the field, and you can see starting pitcher Jack Martell warming up, throwing his warm-up pitches to his catcher Jasper Reed. Around the infield, we've got Eli Rothman at first base, James Erickson at second, Rocco Shorkey at shortstop, and Jake Levin at third. While in the outfield, we have Ryan Kravitz in left field, Owen Roach in center field, and Matt Richardson in right field. It's been a rough season defensively for the Warriors, to be certain. Thus far, the Warriors allowing an average of 8.2 runs per game, while only scoring 3 runs per game themselves. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly one struggle because sometimes it feels like they just run into a really hot offensive team that hits it right where the fielders aren't. And then sometimes it feels like the pitchers set themselves up to get out of an inning and then fielding mistakes prove costly. Excuse me. That wonderful New England spring air is getting to me. But today is a new game, and so we are ready to get underway. Leading off for the Natick Redhawks, the shortstop, number 9, Thomas O'Keefe. A little bit hard to see. The first base coach is kind of in the way. But here comes the first pitch from Martell. He swings and fouls this one off along the right side. And so that'll be an 0-1 count. Martell with the 0-1 pitch. He fouls this one to the backstop, and we've got a quick 0-2 count here to the leadoff hitter. So Martell attacking early, you always like to see that kind of confidence from your pitcher, and you just hope it doesn't backfire and cause him to get skittish. The 0-2 pitch from Martell in the dirt for ball 1. The 1-2. Ooh, did he go around? First base ump says no. It's going to be ball 2, and we're going to have a 2-2 count here against O'Keefe. Martell winds and fires, and it's in there for strike 3, dropped by Reed. He throws down to first, and we got the first out of the inning. A strikeout looking combined with a 2-3 force out off the dropped third strike gives us the first out of the inning. Now batting the center fielder, number 7, Mike Gwinney. First pitch to Gwinney. He fouls this one to the backstop. And again, an early pitcher's count for Martell. The 0-1 pitch just misses high. Seemed to be at a similar level to the third strike call against O'Keefe, but of course in the early stages of the game, part of what you got to do as a pitcher is figure out what each individual ump's strike zone is like. As this one is slapped out to left field, and that's going to drop in front of Kravitz and bounce over his head. This might go for extra bases, or it might not. He tripped and fell, but he seems to have time to get to second base as that one went all the way to the wall. We'll call that a double to left field. Could arguably be called a single and a one-base error, depending on how you want to score it. But either way, a runner on second and one out, and now up the pitcher, number 19, Carter Duran. First pitch from Martel. Just misses, might have been a little inside. Gwynny stands at second after his hit skipped all the way to the wall. This is a hard grounder over to first, fielded cleanly by Eli Rothman, and he takes it unassisted for the ground out. 2 outs, but Gwynny advances to third on the sacrifice. So 2 outs, and up comes the cleanup hitter and first baseman, number 34, Brendan Rodman. Gwynny leads off of third. Martel checks the runner and fires. Catches the zone that time. That's strike one. That is only the second strike Martel has thrown today that wasn't hit by a Natick batter. A lot of foul balls and one big hit, but that one, they say he went around. He couldn't hold up. And so 2 quick whiffs. Well, 1 look and 1 check that couldn't be held up by Rodman, and very quick 0-2 count. Martel 1 strike away from getting out of the top of the first unscathed. Martel checking on Gwynny at third. Delivers the 0-2 and catches the corner. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Rodman goes down looking. And that will end the top of the first inning. Scoreless here at Warren Field. Martel faces 4 batters in his first inning of work. Gets a strikeout looking and then an out on a dropped third strike. A single to left that turned into a double off an error in left field. A ground out to first unassisted. And then another strikeout looking. So 2 strikeouts early for the Brookline starting pitcher. As now we swap over to Natick's defense and their starting pitcher, number 19, Carter Duran. Due up for Brookline, Owen Roach, Rocco Shorgy, and Jasper Reed. In the field for Natick today, as I said, Duran on the mound, and completing the battery is Henry O'Connor. Around the infield, we've got Brendan Rodman at first base, David Puigbo at second base, Thomas O'Keefe at shortstop, and Anton Ciccarelli at third base. In the outfield, going around from left to right, we have Noah Sneed in left field, Mike Gwynny in center field, and Sean Griglowitz in right field. And to anyone watching, if I mispronounce any players' names and you know the correct pronunciation, I encourage you to correct me in the live chat. I want to give these guys the best coverage I possibly can. But we are now starting the bottom of the first inning here at Warren Field. Scoreless game, and stepping up for Brookline is the center fielder, number 2, Owen Roach. Duran winds up and delivers his first pitch, fouled over the backstop by Roach. Roach has been a pretty effective leadoff man for the Warriors this season. He's been able to get on base pretty consistently, at least at the games I've attended so far. It's just been a struggle to get the timely hitting needed to bring him in. The 0-1 pitch. That one is low for ball 1. The 1-1 from Duran. He connects on this one. It's a grounder. It's going to go up the middle. Roach leads this off with a single. Good start for the Warriors. They already have a man on. And now, coming up, the shortstop, number 8, Rocco Shorgy. Duran sets, delivers, and first ball is high. Roach taking a noticeable lead off of first base as they immediately try and catch him and they try and throw it back. He was starting to take his lead off and his body weight was leaning away from the bag, so a good idea by Carter Duran on the pickoff attempt. It just didn't end up working. 1-0, the count to Shorgy. The pitch, he lays down a bunt. This one's going down the first baseline, picked up by Duran, thrown to first, and the sacrifice bunt is successful as it moves Roach over to second. Runner in scoring position with 1 out, as now coming up the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. I've seen Reed hit 4th and 5th for Brookline so far this season. This is the first time I'm seeing him batting 3rd. Actually, no, I think I did see him bat 3rd in the first game of the season as he takes that first pitch for strike 1. Brookline's been tinkering with the batting order, trying to find that winning combination. The 0-1 is high and outside. Count is now 1-1. Owen Roach standing at second with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game. Duran checks Roach at second a couple times, winds and delivers, and that one catches the corner for strike 2. So Reed behind early in this at-bat. 1-2 now the count. Duran with the pitch, swung on and missed, and that's going to be strike 3 for Reed. Two down now, and Brookline's cleanup hitter, the first baseman, number 10, Eli Rothman. My apologies, the first base coach is kind of covering the hitter as he pops a foul ball along the left side. That's going to be strike 1. The 0-1 pitch from Duran is fouled to the backstop. Quick 0-2 count to Rothman. Rothman's had his moments offensively this season, and he's worked his way up to that cleanup spot in the lineup. He now has a chance to knock a runner in. Owen Roach at second base. The pitch, just a bit high, ball 1. Close call there. Rothman was ducking a bit to maybe try and shorten that strike zone just a little bit. 1-2 now the count. Duran fires. Fouled to the backstop again, and Rothman stays alive. 1-2 still the count for the Brookline first baseman. Duran checks the runner. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled to the backstop again. Rothman fighting in this one. One and two the count. The pitch. He hits this one high, and it's going to go over the fence. Foul down the right side. Rothman has fouled off 5 of the 6 pitches in this at-bat thus far. Duran with the 1-2 pitch again, and that one is swung on and missed. And Rothman goes down swinging. So both teams threatened in the first inning and managed to get a runner at a second. For Brookline, it was a single up the middle by Owen Roach, A sacrifice bunt by Rocco Shorgy moved Roach to second, but then Jasper Reed and Eli Rothman both went down swinging to end the inning. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan live at Warren Field. We are scoreless after one, and I'll be back after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, here for the start of the top of the second inning. First pitch is tipped by Natick's number 13, Sean Griglowitz. The 0-1 pitch is high for ball one. In the first inning, Natick managed to get a runner all the way to third, but could not get the timely hit they needed. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt, that's going to be ball two. This is, I believe, the first, well, no, actually not the first, but the first non-1-0 count where there have been more balls than strikes. And doesn't last long as there's a foul to the backstop to make it 2-2. 2-2 the count here to Griglowitz. Martell with the pitch, and he fouls this one over the right side and out of play. Plenty of foul balls from both teams as the hitters are fighting here today. Martell with the 2-2. This one is fouled to the backstop. Count will remain 2-2. He's now fouled it off 4 times. Now the pitch. That one skips in the dirt. And the count is now full. Our first full count of the day. And I believe our first 3-ball count. The pitchers have been pretty aggressive early in this game, but we might see our first walk of the day. Martell, the payoff pitch. And this one is golfed foul over the backstop and headed for the tennis courts, but doesn't quite bounce in there. The tennis players are safe, which I think is what we were all truly worried about in that scenario. Three-two pitch, version 2. It goes high, and that's going to be ball 4. So Griglowitz draws the first walk of the game and trots down to first base. Now coming up for Natick High, the catcher, number 32, Henry O'Connor. We are scoreless here at Warren Field in the top of the second of this game between Brookline and Natick High. Natick now has a runner on first with nobody out. And the catcher O'Connor up at the plate. He swings and connects on the first pitch. Diving snag by Shorgy. He throws to second and he got him in time. Highlight-worthy effort by the shortstop Rocco Shorgy as O'Connor grounds into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Now, coming up for Natick, the designated hitter, number 1, Jack Byrne. The pitch from Martell. Catches the high corner for strike 1. A nice defensive play like that one by Shorgy really gives your pitcher much more confidence to really attack the hitters, knowing that the guys behind him have his back. The 0-1 pitch catches the corner again. Martell showing aggression here. Working in some nice pitch movement, whether it's through the curve or the off speed. He's got an 0-2 count, the pitch. This one skips in the dirt, and that's going to be ball 1. 1-2 now, the count to Byrne. O'Connor stands at first. 1 out and no score in this ball game thus far. Dust kicking up off the infield thanks to the wind, and there goes Byrne on strikes. Martell, his 3rd strikeout of the day thus far. And now coming up, the left fielder, number 3, Noah Sneed. 2 down, runner at first. Martell, his first pitch to Sneed is high, and that's going to be ball 1. Martell checks on O'Connor at first. Delivers. That's a strike. They throw down to first, and oh no! Oh, that skipped right off of O'Connor's face. Oh, they need to bring out the trainer for this one. Oh no. Oh no, you hate to see something like this. That was just a freak accident. That's awful. It was a nice idea. Jasper Reed's usually got such an accurate arm throwing down to first. He threw it a little low this time, and it took a weird hop off the first baseline dirt. Skipped away from Rothman's glove and right into the face of Henry O'Connor. And, oh God, that got him in the nose. He's holding his nose right now. But he's up on his own 2 feet. He's walking around, which is good to see. They're checking to make sure. I think everyone on both sides of this game can agree. We hope this young man is okay. Like I said, just a freak accident. And I mean, you could see in the reaction, you know, Jasper Reed felt bad about it. You know, now that O'Connor is standing up, everybody else is standing up too. But I mean, it's hard not to feel bad because, like, it's not your fault. It's an accident. It's just a weird hop, and that sometimes happens in baseball. But it doesn't mean you don't feel some smidgen of guilt in the back of your head. So the trainers tending to O'Connor as he's putting, I think, like a cold compress or something on his nose. So a bit of a stoppage here in the top of the 2nd inning here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. And we can now see O'Connor stepping out of the dugout. They might need to throw in a pinch runner here. Applause coming from the teammates as he heads off to a bench to sit down with one of his coaches. You know, you just want to make sure the guy's okay. I mean, anytime you get hit, you know, in the face or any part of the head, you always gotta make sure. I mean, that's one of, if not the most valuable body part of a human body, is the noggin. And so we will see a pinch runner here For Natick, this is number 8. I'll look up who he is. I'll have that for you guys in a second. Meanwhile, the batter steps back into the box. Pinch running is number 8, Josh Libby. So Noah Snead facing what I think is a 1-1 count. I can't remember whether that last pitch was a ball or a strike. I was slightly distracted. This one is a ball. And so I think it's a 2-1 count. It might be a 3-0 count. The ump not showing right now. Libby leading off of first. The pitch cuts into the zone there. That's either strike 1 or strike 2. Like I said, I'm one pitch off, got a little distracted by that freak injury there. Either 2-2 or 3-1. The pitch from Martell is swung on and fouled down the left side. So it's definitely a 2-strike count now. It's either 2-2 or 3-2. Two outs. Libby pinch running at first. The pitch to Snead. Catches the corner. He fooled him on that one. So the top of the second ends with no damage on the scoreboard. A little damage to one player's face, unfortunately. He's still standing off to the side. Excuse me again. Like I said, very dry out here and also very windy. You can tell just looking at the infield that a lot of dust is getting blown around. I'm surprised the players aren't sneezing their heads off. But we got 3 coaches from the 2 teams checking up on O'Connor, making sure he's okay. And in the meantime, Carter Duran returns to the mound. And this is a very important juncture. They got to figure out whether or not O'Connor is okay enough to return to the backstop. Because if not, they're going to need to get a new catcher. And a good catcher can make a world of difference, especially at the high school level. But it looks like Libby is going to fill in at catcher. So a defensive substitution for Natick as we head into the bottom of the second inning. Leading off for Brookline will be the right fielder, number 18, Matt Richardson. Due up for the Warriors, it'll be Richardson, Kravitz, and then Levin. They were able to get a runner to second in the bottom of the first, but they stranded him there. First pitch to Richardson. He fouls this one over the backstop. 0-1 now the count. Duran winds and delivers. This one is low for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Richardson. Richardson has been in and out of the starting lineup throughout this season. But a nice spot in the lineup here in the 5 spot as he takes strike 2. So we'll see if Richardson shows why the coaches are putting him at this spot in the order. That pitch is low and away for ball 2. So 2-2 now the count to Richardson. Pitch from Duran. In there for strike 3. So Richardson strikes out looking. And now coming up we have the left fielder, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. First pitch to Kravitz, swung on and missed. Strike one. Kravitz, another player that's been used at various spots in the batting order, even if he is consistently in the lineup. He spent a lot of time at the 2 spot in the order. Today he bats number 6 as he takes strike 2. Oh and 2 the count. He pops this one up. It's being chased. Bit of an awkward spot, but collected by Rodman. So a pop out to first brings the second out of the inning, and now coming up, the third baseman, number 21, Jake Levin. First pitch, high for ball 1. The 1-0 is fouled to the backstop by Levin. Count now at 1-1. Duran trying to put the Warriors down in order here in the bottom of the second of this scoreless high school baseball game. The pitch, fouled to the backstop again. 1-2 now the count. The 1-2 pitch. He fouls this one into the dirt. Levin staying alive. Still 1-2 the count. Again, my apologies. The view I've got here, sometimes the first base coach kind of steps in the way of the batter. Not quite sure what to do about that. The 1-2 pitch, he pops this one up. Shallow center, it's being tracked, and it's caught by the second baseman. So a 1-2-3 inning pitched by Carter Duran. He gets Richardson to go down on strikes looking, and then gets Kravitz to pop out to first, and then Levin to pop out to second. 2 hits into the shallow outfield. Just hung in the air for too long for the Warriors. After 2 innings, we are scoreless here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and I'll be back after a short mute break. Stay tuned. And we're back. Top of the third inning now here at Warren Field. First guy to the plate for Natick will be the second baseman, number 6, David Puigbo. Natick now down to the bottom of their order. They've stranded 1 runner in each of the first 2 innings. Stranded a runner at third in the first inning and a runner at first in the second. Puigbo leading things off, and the first pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Martell has been effective at getting out of these innings safely thus far. The 1-0 pitch skips in the dirt again. That's ball 2. 2-0 the count to Puigbo. The pitch. Catches the corner that time. That's strike one. Now the 2-1 is fouled into the dirt. And that's going to be strike two. That was a bit of a low dipping pitch, but Martel fooled Puigbo. So it'll be strike two instead of ball three. The 2-2 pitch now. Just low. Reed thought he had the strikeout there. He was getting ready to chuck that ball around the infield. But instead we've got a full count to Puigbo. Pitch. He fouls a slow dribbler down the third base side and stays alive at a full count. Payoff pitch in the dirt, and that was I thought that was ball four, and apparently the Natick first base coach also thought it was four. The first base umpire also thinks it's four, and it was four. Thought I was going crazy for a second there, but indeed that was ball four. And so with a runner on first and nobody out, now due up is the leadoff hitter, the shortstop, number 9, Thomas O'Keefe. O'Keefe struck out looking his first time up and was thrown out after a dropped third strike. The first pitch he faces now is ball one. The oh-so-important second time through the lineup, as they've now had a chance to face Martel. He throws back to first, and Puigbo dives back safely. Martel sets. Delivers. Connected on, and that one is going to go out into center field. All the runners hold. And so a clean single to center for O'Keefe. Puigbo advanced second base, and this is the first situation for either team where they have multiple runners on. Now up, the center fielder, number 7, Mike Gwinney. Gwinney hit a single to left last time up and advanced to second on an error in left field as the first pitch is high for ball one. Martel's been struggling to find the zone this inning. He's had some pitches miss really high and some of them miss really low. First and second, nobody out. Natick threatening here in the top of the third. Martel delivers. He shows bunt, pulls back, and takes the strike. 1-1, the count to Gwinney. Puigbo stands at second. O'Keefe at first. And Mike Gwinney at the plate, hoping to bring one of them in. He shows bunt again, and he fouls it behind him. And so now in the hole 1 and 2. Natick was clearly thinking of a small ball solution, but now with 2 strikes, laying down a sacrifice bunt comes with some extra risks. If he bunts foul one more time, he's out. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and he goes down on strikes anyway. Big out get for Martel. As now coming up is his counterpart on the opposing team's mound, the pitcher, number 19, Carter Duran. 1 down, runners at first and second. The first pitch skips to the backstop, and that's going to allow both runners to advance. So Puigbo to third and O'Keefe to second. A ground out could bring in the game's first run now. 1-0 the count. The pitch from Martel In there for strike one. 1-1 is now the count. His last time up, Duran grounded out to the first baseman. If he hits a grounder deep enough into the infield, that could bring in Puigbo from third. The 1-1 pitch. Catches the low corner again. Strike two. Martel working what appears to be that low outside corner against Duran, and he's now got a 1-2 count. Martel checks Puigbo at third. Delivers, and this one's sent out to right field. Caught by Richardson. Thrown in, and the runners all hold. Nice play by Matt Richardson out in right field, catching the liner and holding all the runners at their bases with a quick throw back into the infield. So already now 2 outs, and the cleanup hitter and first baseman, number 34, Brendan Rodman, now comes to the plate. The pitch. In there for strike one. 0-1 the count. David Puigbo at third. Thomas O'Keefe at first. Rodman struck out looking his last time up. He is 0-1 so far on the day, and he certainly wants to make contact this time. The 0-1 pitch from Martel. He makes contact this time, and he sends it up the middle. That's going to bring in at least one. Runners rounding third, and he's coming in, and they're not going to get there in time. A 2-run, 2-out single to center by Brendan Rodman. And we've got our first 2 scores of the game. Natick now leads Brookline 2-0. So now with 2 outs and a runner at first base and a 2-0 lead, coming up, the right fielder, number 13, Sean Griglowitz. He whiffs on the first pitch. That's strike one. Brendan Rodman breaks this game open with a 2-run single. And the 0-1 is low for ball one. And that's where that wild pitch comes back to bite you. Because if Rodman hits that with runners on first and second instead of second and third, then that only brings in 1 run. The 1-1 pitch to Griglowitz catches the zone for strike two. Martel checks the runner and fires. Connected on, it's a slow dribbler over to second. Fielded by Erickson and thrown to Rothman for the easy 4-3 ground out. In the top of the third, the Natick Redhawks produce 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 walk. 1 error by the pitcher himself on a wild pitch and 1 strikeout. We head to the bottom of the third. The Natick Redhawks now leading the Brookline Warriors 2-0. And Natick's Carter Duran will be facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Brookline. That is James Erickson, second baseman, who just fielded that 4-3 ground out. Jack Martel, the pitcher, and then the leadoff hitter and center fielder, Owen Roach. Duran's had a pretty solid outing against the Warriors thus far. He's given up 1 hit, and everything else has been an out. Since that leadoff single by Owen Roach, no one else has managed to reach base for the Warriors yet. A sac bunt by Rocco Shorkey advanced Roach to second, but then back-to-back strikeouts by Jasper Reed and Eli Rothman ended the first inning. And then in the second inning, the Warriors went down in order. Richardson struck out looking. Kravitz popped out to first, and Levin popped out to second. So Brookline will be hoping for a different offensive result here in the bottom of the third as they now trail the visiting Redhawks 2-0. Now batting, the second baseman, number 24, James Erickson. First pitch to Erickson, swung on and missed. That'll be strike one. Erickson, a player I have not seen yet this season. I've been to quite a few games with this team, but I have not seen Erickson play before. Second pitch catches the high corner for strike two. So Erickson quickly in the hole here. 0-2, Duran the pitch. He swings and misses and quickly goes down on 3 strikes. That's the kind of aggression a pitcher can produce, A, when he's got the lead, and B, when he's pitching against the lower half of the lineup. Now batting is the pitcher, number 15, Jack Martell. Martell takes the first pitch low for ball 1. The 1-0, swung on and missed, and that's going to be strike one. Duran dusts off his pants a little bit, stares back in at Martell. The 1-1 pitch. He connects on this one, bloops it out to right, being chased and caught by the right fielder. A nice play out in right field by Sean Griglewitz. Solid contact, just a little too much air under it, and not placed in the best spot. 2 down, nobody on, and we're back to the top of the order with the center fielder, number 2, Owen Roach. First pitch misses outside. That's going to be ball 1. Roach singled up the middle his last time up. The pitch, he slaps this one out to left, and this one is caught. So 2 straight liners with just a little too much juice on them, as Brookline flies out twice to end the inning. We are through 3 here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. The score, the Natick Redhawks 2, the Brookline Warriors 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, giving you live coverage of this high school baseball game, and I'll be back with the 4th inning after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here to bring you the 4th inning of this high school baseball game. Martell's first pitch catches the zone for strike 1. The current batter is the backup catcher, number 8, Josh Libby. The 0-1 pitch to Libby, he swings and misses, fooled him on that one. That was either a nice curve or a nice off-speed pitch, but either way, big dip on that pitch. 0-2 now the count. Pitch, swung on and missed, and he's quickly down on strikes. So a confidence-building 3-pitch strikeout for the Brookline pitcher Jack Martell as he took on the backup catcher Josh Libby. Of course, Libby had to pinch run for the starting catcher Henry O'Connor and then take over for him behind the plate after O'Connor took a pickoff attempt throw to the face off of a bad hop. First pitch to the designated hitter, Jack Byrne, is swung on and missed for strike one. So an 0-1 count to Byrne. The 0-1 pitch from Martell. He fouls this one behind him, and that's going to be a quick 0-2 count. Last time up, Byrne struck out swinging on a 4-pitch at bat. He'll be hoping for a better result here, but not heading in that direction with an early 0-2 count. One out and nobody on here in the top of the fourth. The score, Natick 2, Brookline 0. Martell with the pitch. This one is high and over the head, and that's going to be ball one. An eerily similar at-bat so far for Byrne, and if it follows the same pattern as his last at-bat, this will be the one where he goes down on strikes. The 1-2 pitch, and it follows the pattern. Byrne goes down on strikes for the second straight time and in the same number of pitches. Now up, Noah Sneed. First pitch to Sneed is high for ball one. Sneed, the left fielder, number 3, he ended up striking out looking to end the inning as he pops this one up along the third base side, and it's collected by Levin easily, and that will end the inning. A quick 1-2-3 top of the fourth inning for Brookline defensively. Just 9 pitches thrown in that inning by Jack Martell, which has got to be quite the relief after the tough third inning he had, where he gave up 2 runs on that 2-run single by Brendan Rodman that was in part set up by a wild pitch he threw that advanced the runners from first and second to second and third. So quickly heading back out onto the mound is Carter Duran for the bottom of the fourth inning, and he'll be facing the heart of the Brookline lineup, the 2-3-4 batters, Rocco Shorgy, Jasper Reed, and Eli Rothman. Each player with at least one R in their initials. Not that that means anything, just a nice little fun fact. Duran did pretty well against this chunk of the lineup last time. Rocco Shorgy laid down a sacrifice bunt, so the at-bat practically doesn't count in terms of success or failure on either side. But then Reed and Rothman went down on strikes back-to-back. But of course, this is the ever-important second time through the lineup. We saw how helpful that was for Natick back in the third inning, and now I think Shorgy just got hit. Yeah, I think they just hit him. First pitch, and Shorgy gets hit by a pitch. In the game against Walpole, I think that happened to him twice. And so Shorgy, certainly a master of getting on base no matter what it takes. Runner on first, nobody out, and they try the pickoff and do not catch Shorgy. So now stepping up the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. First pitch is high for ball one, but you can tell they're thinking about a possible pickoff of Shorgy down at first base. They are wary of him on that first base path. The pitch, high once again to Reed. This is not a batter that you want to give a hitter's count to. Reed really knows how to take advantage when you give him the kind of pitch he wants as they throw back to first. Oh, that was close, but they say they say they didn't make it. Well, they say Shorgy made it, but the throw by Duran did not make it in time. Shorgy just crept in under the glove. The 2-0 pitch is high once again for 3-0. So the next pitch probably going to be a freebie strike to Reed, but after that, who knows what might be unleashed by the Brookline number 3 hitter. The throw down to first, it skips away. And Shorgy taking off for second, and he's going to get there easily. So a 3-0 count and a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Good chance for Brookline. The pitch to Reed is high for ball 4. The error didn't even matter. Brookline with their first 2-men-on situation as the cleanup hitter comes up and we got a visit out to the mound. Jasper Reed at first, Rocco Shorgy at second, but still no hits thus far in the inning. Brookline with just 1 hit so far today, and that's been the struggle for them sometimes. They are very good at getting runners pretty consistently on base, but getting those timely hits to bring them in has been a real struggle. As I said before, they are averaging 3 runs a game while allowing an average of 8.2 runs per game, which has resulted in their 0-9 record so far this season. But now with 2 men on and nobody out, they have got their cleanup hitter and first baseman, number 10, Eli Rothman. Rothman struck out swinging to end the first, and he's showing bunt. He bunts it right back to the pitcher. They throw to first, and that's the sacrifice bunt. So a 1-3 out on the sacrifice bunt. Shorgy to third, Reed to second. And it'll be up to the 5 and 6 hitters, Matt Richardson and Ryan Kravitz, to try and bring someone home. Richardson now stepping in. The first pitch swung on and missed. That's going to be strike 1. Last time up, Richardson struck out looking. He'll be looking to get some contact this time to hopefully bring in Shorgy and Reed. The pitch. He swings and connects on this one. And it's not going to be caught. That one's going to skip away, and that's going to bring in 2. Rocco Shorgy comes in easily. Jasper Reed sprinting in behind him. Richardson holds at second. Misjudged in left field by the Natick outfielder, Noah Sneed. Huge clutch hit by Matt Richardson. And the double to left brings in 2, and we've got a tie ball game. Now Ryan Kravitz swings and misses at his first pitch. That'll be strike 1. Kravitz popped out to first his last time up. We've now got no outs and a runner on second. Second pitch in there for strike 2. So the diving miss by Noah Sneed, I've decided not to count as an error. True, he slightly misjudged the play, but that was a hard play to make either way. He should have just stayed in front of it and stayed on his feet, as this ball misses low and away for ball 1. But at the end of the day, it's hard to call that an error. And so I'll call it a double to left by Matt Richardson that scores Shorgy and Reed. The pitch. Catches the corner that time, fooled him on the curve, and Kravitz goes down looking. Big first out for Carter Duran, as now coming up the third baseman, number 21, Jake Levin. Levin popped out to second his last time up. He is 0-4-1 so far today. I can speak English, I swear. Duran catches the zone on that first pitch. 0-1 now the count. Pitch. Catches the zone again for strike 2. Duran pitching aggressively after a sloppy start to the inning, gave up 2 runs. There's a runner on second and 1 out now, but Duran just 1 strike away from 2 outs. Misses high on that one, though, and so the count will be 1-2. 1 more strike, and this will exactly fit the at-bat that Kravitz just had. The 1-2 pitch. He swings and connects on this one. This one might go over the second baseman. It will go over the second baseman and drop into right field. Richardson's coming around third. He's headed for home, and Brookline has the lead. I asked where the timely hitting was, and Brookline told me right here. Levin with a single to shallow right, scoring Richardson from second, and Brookline has the 3-2 lead. Now coming up, the second baseman, number 24, James Erickson. Erickson went down swinging on 3 pitches his last time up. First pitch, he fouls to the backstop. So his first contact of the day thus far goes to the backstop for strike 1. An electric inning for Brookline thus far as they throw back to first, and Levin just trots back. Duran has already had 1 erroneous throw on a pickoff attempt, and now the 0-1 pitch catches the low corner for strike 2. 1 out, Jake Levin at first. Brookline now leads Natick 3-2. The pitch, Erickson fouls it to the backstop, and he'll stay alive with an 0-2 count. Duran sets. Winds and delivers, swung on and missed, and Erickson goes down on strikes. And I forgot to count the number of outs. I forgot to count Rothman's sacrifice bunt, so that's actually out number 3. But still, an exciting 4th inning for the Warriors. It started with Rocco Shorgy being hit by the first pitch to get a free trot down to first. He would advance to second on a throwing error by Duran on a pickoff attempt, but it almost didn't matter as Jasper Reed drew a 4-pitch walk to put runners at first and second. Eli Rothman laid down a successful sacrifice bunt to move the runners along, and then after Ryan Kravitz struck out looking, Jake Levin came up with a big 2-out single into shallow right that scored Richardson from second base before James Erickson struck out swinging to end the inning. 3 runs scored for Brookline, and they take a 3-2 lead over the Natick Redhawks. I mean, that was everything that I've been asking for with some of these games I've been covering for Brookline. You get runners on base, but you need the timely hitting to be able to bring them in. Due up for Natick is the second baseman, number 6, David Puigbo. Puigbo led off the top of the third with a walk and later came around to score Natick's first run, the first of 2 runners to come in on Brendan Rodman's 2-out single to center. Back then, that was the only score of the game, and Natick took a 2-0 lead. But now Brookline has fought back to take a 3-2 lead. First pitch to Puigbo is low for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch from Martel. In there for strike 1. So Martel has got to be feeling good. His offense backing him up here with that big 3-run rally as this one is fouled down the third base side. 1-2 now the count to Puigbo. We are over halfway through this game, now in the top of the 5th inning. Martel with the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and connected. This one's a dribbler over to Erickson at second. Throws to Rothman at first for the out. A 4-3 ground out by David Puigbo. And now we cycle back around to the top of the order for the 3rd time. It'll be the shortstop, number 9, Thomas O'Keefe. First pitch from Martell. Swung on and grounded shallow. Fielded by Martell. Thrown to first. Bit of a high throw, but collected easily by Rothman. And that is a 1-3 ground out for the second out of the inning. So with nobody on and 2 outs comes Mike Gwinney, the center fielder, number 7. Gwinney struck out swinging his last time up in the 3rd inning and also hit a single to left and advanced to second on an error in the 1st inning. This first pitch is hit a hard skipper over to Shorgy. Shorgy dives and grabs it. His throw misses first. Wouldn't have been there in time anyway. So I think we can safely call that an infield single for Gwinney. So Gwinney reaches base safely for the 2nd time today. And now up after him is the pitcher, Carter Duran. Runner at first, 2 outs. Martell delivers, swung on and chopped over to third, picked up by Levin. He's going to throw it for first. They didn't get him. Oh, I thought they got him. That seemed like a bang-bang play at first. It was a close call for short, but I thought they had him. The official calls safe, and so back-to-back infield singles. And now coming up is a man who already has 2 RBIs following a 2-out single his last at-bat, and that is Brendan Rodman. Martell in a bit of a jam here. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. Rodman, the cleanup hitter at the plate. First pitch, high and inside, ball 1. Martell sets. And we got a timeout called by the hitter. That infield single by Duran, it seemed like Levin hesitated a bit after fielding the ball, wanted to make sure he got his throw off cleanly, and I think that might have allowed Duran to reach base safely as this pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. 1-1 the count to Rodman. 2 down here in the top of the 5th of this 3-2 ball game. Mike Gwinney at second base, Carter Duran at first. That next pitch drops low and inside. 2-1 the count. These are the tense moments you live for in baseball. A 1-run ball game, 2 men on, 2 out, cleanup hitter at the plate. He's already got 1 big 2-run hit. What's going to happen? Let's find out. The 2-1 pitch is low again for ball 3. A walk here wouldn't bring anyone in, but it would load the bases with 2 outs for the next hitter. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and chopped into shallow center, and it's going to bounce in. 1 runner is coming home, and we've got a tie ball game again. Brendan Rodman once again with a single to center. He brings in Gwinney, and Natick ties this game at 3 apiece. Next up is Sean Griglowitz. He grounded out to second to end Natick's 3rd inning rally last time. We've got a meeting at the mound. This might be a pitching substitution. We'll see what happens. Runners at 1st and 3rd as Duran advanced to 3rd on Rodman's single. They're going to stick with Martell. He'll be facing the right fielder, number 13, Sean Griglowitz. 2 outs and runners on the corners. Griglowitz so far has walked to lead off the 2nd inning and grounded out to second to end the 3rd. He's now got Rodman at 1st and Duran at 3rd. First pitch from Martell. Swung on and chopped and caught. Nice catch by Erickson on the hopping grab. And that ends the inning, but we are all squared now. Natick led off the inning with 2 quick groundouts. 1 grounder to second by David Puigbo, and 1 grounder back to the pitcher by Thomas O'Keefe. Mike Gwinney hit a hard and fast grounder towards the left side gap that was stabbed at by Rocco Shorkey, but he couldn't get up and get the throw off in time, so that was an infield single for Gwinney. Then Duran hit a grounder over to third, and Jake Levin's throw missed by fractions of a second at first base. I actually thought from my point of view that he was out. I mean, we've got tape to go back and review it if we feel like it, but doesn't matter. What matters is the umps call on the field, and they called safe, so then there were runners on first and second. Brendan Rodman came in and chopped a popper into shallow center just in front of Owen Roach, and Mike Gwinney, running on contact, scored from second, while Duran advanced to third. Gwinney's run tied up the ball game at 3 apiece, but then with runners on the corners and 2 outs, Sean Griglowitz lined out to James Erickson at second base. Three all here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Carter Duran coming out for his 5th inning of work. He'll be facing the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for Brookline, starting with the opposing pitcher, number 15, Jack Martell. First pitch high for ball 1 to Martell. His last time up, Martell flew out, or rather lined out to right field. And now he chops one to the backstop for a foul ball. That'll be strike 1. So this is just Martell's second at-bat after he had his first at-bat back in the 3rd inning. After him will come Owen Roach and Rocco Shorkey. The 1-1 pitch swung, and he's got a lot of this one. It's being chased by the center fielder. He's not going to catch it. That's going to go for extra bases. Martell huffing and puffing his way over to second base. A stand-up double. A towering drive out to deep center field. Mike Gwinney got on his horse to try and chase that one, but there was no catching it. Big leadoff hit by the pitcher and number 9 hitter to get things started for Brookline here in the bottom of the 5th. Owen Roach now at the plate. He takes the first pitch on the high corner for strike 1. Roach, his last time up, popped out to left field to end the 3rd inning. And, of course, in the first inning, he singled up the middle, so he's 1 for 2 so far today. He swings, and he's got some contact on that one, being tracked by the center fielder. He's got the grab this time. Martell thought about checking up, but decided not to advance. Nice contact by Roach, but again, not placed well enough, and so a line out to center produces the first out of the inning. Now up, the shortstop, number 8, Rocco Shorkey. Shorkey thus far has laid down a sacrifice bunt and been hit by a pitch. This first pitch catches the high corner for strike 1. So despite 2 plate appearances, Shorkey is actually still 0 for 0. Neither of his at-bats have counted yet. Runner at second, 1 out. And that one fooled him on the curve. 0-2. Shorkey in a quick hole here. The 0-2 pitch. He fouls this one to the backstop and stays alive. Shorkey, of course, came around to score after being hit by a pitch in the 4th inning on the double by Matt Richardson. Now the 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, and Shorkey goes down on strikes. So after the big leadoff double by Jack Martell, we are very quickly at 2 outs in the inning now. And now due up is Jasper Reed. His last time up, he drew a 4-pitch walk and later came around to score on Richardson's double. He takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Of course, his first at bat, he went down on strikes. So far, Reed is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Checks back at second. Martell dives back, and there wasn't even a throw. Tie ball game. Runner at second, 2 outs. The pitch swung on and connected. If this stays fair, it stays fair. That's going to go down the left field line. That's going to bring in the go-ahead run. Martell scores easily. Reed running down to second, and he's got the 2-out double. What a blow-for-blow game this has been. Brookline taking the 4-3 lead off of the 2-out double down the left field line by Jasper Reed. Now up is Eli Rothman. He swings and fouls this one down the third base side, almost takes off his coach's head, but it'll just be a harmless strike 1. Rothman, his last time up, laid down a sacrifice bunt to help with that rally in the 4th inning. Now the pitch misses outside for ball 1. And of course, his first at bat, Rothman struck out to end the 1st inning. So far he is 0 for 1. Jasper Reed standing at second, 2 outs. Brookline up 4-3. The pitch swung on. He's got some good contact. That's going to drop in left field. High bounce collected by the left fielder. Reed's being sent around. It's going to be a close play at the plate. Reed dives in and he's safe. The single to left by Eli Rothman brings in Reed, and Brookline takes the 5-3 lead. How about these 2-out hits from both teams? I mean, every single run that Natick has scored has come with 2 outs in the inning. Brookline has had 3 of their 5 runs now come with 2 outs in the inning. That's clutch hitting. That's timely hitting. And it just makes for fun and exciting baseball. And it has been a fun and exciting game thus far here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. And now, coming up to the plate, the man who started the scoring for Brookline back in the 3rd inning, the right fielder, number 18, Matt Richardson. Rothman leading off of first. Swing at the first pitch. It's a pop into shallow center. It's being tracked, called for by the second baseman, and he's got it. So Richardson didn't have another big hit in him that at bat. He pops out to second to end the 5th inning, but what a game we've got on our hands here this afternoon, folks. The score now after 5, Brookline 5, Natick 3. Brookline responded to Natick's 1-run comeback well this inning. Jack Martell, the pitcher and number 9 hitter, slapped a towering drive out to deep center field that could not be caught by Mike Gwinney, and he trotted down to second for a leadoff double. Then after a line out to center by Owen Roach and a strikeout swinging by Rocco Shorgy, a double down the left field line by Jasper Reed managed to bring in Martell, and then Rothman drove in Reed on a single to left. The inning ended on a pop-out by Matt Richardson. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Warren Field, and I'll be back with the 6th inning after a short mute break. Stay tuned. And I'm back. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am here live at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here bringing you what has been a pretty exciting game of high school baseball. The current score, the hosting Brookline High Warriors 5, the visiting Natick High Redhawks 3. Leading off here in the top of the 6th inning will be the catcher, number 8, Josh Libby. Jack Martell returns to the mound for Brookline for his 6th inning of work. First pitch just misses for ball 1. Martell has had his ups and downs throughout this outing. But overall, for a team that has not given up less than 6 runs in a game so far this season, he's held Natick to 3 runs through his first 5 innings, as that one is fouled to the backstop for strike 1. Libby, of course, the backup catcher who took over for Henry O'Connor after O'Connor took a bad hop. He took a ball to the face off a bad hop as that pitch misses high for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Libby. The 2-1 pitch from Martell. Swung on and connected. This one's a high hopper over to third. Fielded by Jake Levin, but it's foul. That was a slow hopper down the third base line. If that was fair, that could have been an infield single for Libby. Of course, Libby struck out swinging back in the top of the 4th inning, which is his only other at-bat thus far, as obviously he didn't get the first at-bat in the first time through the order. That was O'Connor. The pitch is high. That's going to be ball 3. So we got a full count to Libby to lead off the top of the 6th inning. The pitch from Martell. I believe they were saying he fouled that one off. If he had just missed, it would have been a dropped third strike and he would have taken off. But he got a piece of it, and so he stays alive at a 3-2 count. Martell, the payoff pitch, swung on and chopped down the third baseline. This one's going to stay fair. Fielded by Levin, thrown to first, and they got him in time. The 5-3 ground out by Libby leads off the inning with an out. Nice quick throw by Jake Levin as he beats him on the bang-bang play this time. Now up the designated hitter, number 1, Jack Byrne. Except no, we've got a pinch hitter. I'm going to have to go to my lineup sheet for this one. Pinch hitter is number 24, Matthew Haskell. First pitch to Haskell is high for ball 1. 1 out and nobody on, as Natick throwing back-to-back new hitters at Martell here in the top of the 6th inning. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed, and that'll be strike 1. The 1-1 pitch is high for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch to Haskell. Catches the zone this time, strike 2. Two and two now the count to Haskell. No one out, and 1 out rather, and nobody on. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. And that's another strikeout for Martell. We'll see who they send to the plate. They got another pinch hitter This is number 5, Sam Schuster. Schuster hitting in place of Noah Sneed. First pitch to Schuster. Catches the corner for strike 1. So 0-1 the count. The pitch. He swings and connects this one. This one's being driven out deep to left. Kravitz is chasing it. That ball is gone! A pinch hit home run by Sam Schuster. This game has it all. Clutch hits back and forth. An up and down ball game with teams trading leads, and now a pinch hit home run. Brookline still holds the lead at this point, but it has been narrowed down to a 1-run ball game. 5-4 now the score following that solo shot to left by Schuster. Now, ordinarily after Sneed would be David Puigbo, but we've had several pinch hitters thrown at us at this late stage of the game, and the first pitch to whoever it is, I'll assume it's Puigbo for now. First pitch is high for ball 1. Second pitch high again for ball 2. And that is still David Puigbo. So back-to-back pinch hitters for Natick. First was Matthew Haskell hitting for Jack Byrne. He struck out swinging. And then next was Sam Schuster hitting in place of Noah Sneed. And he hit one over the left field fence. This one catches the inside corner for strike 1. A 2-1 count to Puigbo. 2 outs and still nobody on, but a tight 5-4 ball game. The pitch in the dirt, and that's going to be ball 3 to Puigbo. Puigbo's been very effective out of the number 9 spot. He grounded out to second in the 5th inning, but also drew a walk and later came around to score on Brendan Rodman's 2-run single. He was actually the first batter to score as he now pops this one down the left field line and foul. So Puigbo now facing a full count. He is 0-1 with a walk and a run scored. Martell, the payoff pitch, is high, and that's going to be the second walk of the day for Puigbo as we cycle back around to the top of the lineup. And we're going to start with Thomas O'Keefe. We got another visit out to the mound. Martell's been pitching an absolute marathon, but it's getting a little too close for comfort. And he is indeed going to be pulled. And now coming in, the third baseman, Jake Levin. Levin, of course, a pretty regular pitcher for Brookline, usually a starting pitcher. And of course, Martell is moving down, appears to be moving to third base. A straight swap here. So 5 2/3 innings of work for Jack Martell. He is currently on the hook for a potential win in this game as he leaves the game with a narrow 5-4 lead. And coming up, as I said, will be Thomas O'Keefe. Let's take a look at what O'Keefe's done so far today. In the top of the first, he struck out looking and was thrown out at first on a drop third strike. His next time around, he singled to center and later came around to score on Brendan Rodman's 2-run single. And then his most recent time up, he grounded out back to the pitcher. So he's 1 for 3 thus far with a run scored and a strikeout. He was one of, let's count how many strikeouts Martell had for the day. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts for Martell in 5 2/3 innings of work. So a fairly impressive outing for Jack Martell. He gives up 4 runs, all of them earned, but strikes out 8 on the day. And if Levin can shut the door here, this will be the best defensive performance by the Warriors so far this season. As I said, they have given up at least 6 runs in every game so far this season. And they've averaged 8.2 runs allowed per game. So an above-average defensive performance for the team thus far today, and an above-average offensive performance with 5 runs this far while averaging 3 per game for the season. First pitch to O'Keefe. Skips away from the catcher, and that's going to allow Puigbo to go to second. So not the best first pitch for Jake Levin, as Puigbo gets a free pass to second, and now there's a runner in scoring position with 2 down here in the inning. The pitch misses high. That's ball 2. Puigbo at second, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Brookline narrowly leads Natick 5-4. Levin, the 2-0 pitch. Misses low and inside. That's ball 3. So Jake Levin struggling with control early in this relief appearance. 3 pitches, 3 straight balls to the leadoff hitter O'Keefe. The pitch is in the dirt, and a 4-pitch walk for his first batter. And the next batter up is not someone you want to be facing in a tough situation like this. That's Mike Gwinney. He's got 2 hits already today and has scored a run. He now comes up with 2 outs and runners on first and second. First pitch. And they call a balk on Levin. So Puigbo goes to third and O'Keefe to second. And I believe the pitch doesn't count, as it was called before the pitch was thrown. Still 0-0 the count to Mike Gwinney. David Puigbo at third, Thomas O'Keefe at second. The pitch down the middle for strike 1. Levin needed that pitch to hit the zone, as he's put himself in a pretty sizable jam. He came in with a runner on first, and now it's very quickly become second and third. The pitch fouled to the backstop, and Gwinney in a quick 0-2 hole. Tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. Gwinney at the plate, Levin on the mound. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. 0-2 the count to Gwinney. Levin delivers. Just misses inside. That's going to be ball 1. 1-2 now the count to Gwinney. Levin sets, checks the runner at third. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and drived out to deep left field. It might be in foul territory. It's drive for it. Sliding catch by Kravitz. Big play out in left field by Ryan Kravitz. that ends the top of the 6th inning. Brookline just barely escapes with their lead intact. And I mean just barely. It looked like that ball was going to drop into foul territory, but a nice sliding grab by the left fielder, Ryan Kravitz, as we've got a new pitcher coming out for Natick here in the bottom of the 6th inning. This is number 42, who is not on my lineup sheet. Well, that's too bad. Hopefully I'll hear his name at some point, maybe. Maybe I can ask someone around here. I'm going to take a quick mute break, see if I can figure out who this new pitcher is. All right, some helpful fans along the first base side here helped me out. Big shout out to them. The new pitcher is Harry Pagnini. Pagnini was labeled as number 26 on the roster I was given, but it turns out he's actually number 42. So he comes in after 5 innings of work by the starting pitcher, Carter Duran. Duran currently on the hook for the loss. If Natick cannot come back, they made it darn close in the top of the 6th. The pinch hit home run by Sam Schuster, cutting it down to a 1-run lead, and then a walk by Puigbo, a walk by O'Keefe, and a balk put runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. But a great sliding grab in left field by Ryan Kravitz robbed Mike Gwinney of a potential game-winning hit. Speaking of Kravitz, he'll actually be leading off the inning. We got a. Looks like coaches are meeting over the lineup sheets. Of course, there's been a number of pinch hitters, substitutions, all that jazz. It's the late stages of a close game. You gotta watch out for those switches. They can really mix you up. And indeed, it is still Ryan Kravitz at the plate, so no pinch hitter for Brookline on this at-bat. First pitch from Pagnini. High for ball 1. Kravitz, his last time up, struck out looking. And the time before that, he popped out to first. So 0 for 2 so far today, although he's already come up with his big contribution on that sliding catch. He takes this one in the zone for strike 1. 1-1, the count to Kravitz. Brookline 5, Natick 4, here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pagnini with the 1-1. Misses low for ball 2. We saw this same thing happen with Levin. The new pitcher comes in. He's not quite comfortable yet, and he struggles to find the zone. Pagnini, the 2-1. Misses high, and it's 3-1 now. Kravitz hoping to reach base for the first time today. The pitch. He takes it for strike 2. A full count now to Ryan Kravitz. Pagnini with the payoff pitch. And he slices this one high into the air. It's being tracked by the shortstop, and he's got it. O'Keefe fields the pop-up easily, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Up now with 1 out and nobody on is the starting third baseman and relief pitcher, number 21, Jake Levin. So it's relief pitcher against relief pitcher as Pagnini winds and delivers. He misses just outside, and that's ball 1. Levin, his last time up, single to shallow right, a big 2-out single that drove in Matt Richardson. Back then, it made the score 3-2. The score is now 5-4 as both teams have turned things up. This pitch misses low for ball 2. So Levin already with one big hit today as he chopped one over the second baseman's head and into shallow right. This one catches the corner for a strike. 2-1, the count to Levin. The 2-1 pitch. Misses low, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch to Levin. Skips in the dirt, and that's going to be ball 4. So Levin with the free pass to first base, and with one out and a runner on, it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. Coming in to replace Erickson. Let me check my handy-dandy lineup here. Make sure I get this correctly. It is number 13, Daniel Villa. Villa takes the first pitch for a strike. Second pitch is low for ball 1, so 1-1 the count to Daniel Villa. So Erickson will finish the day, I believe, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, but he's had some nice defensive plays at second base. As Villa, either the pitch caught the corner or he couldn't hold himself back from going around. Either way, 1-2 now the count. 1 out, Levin leading off from first base. Brookline 5, Natick 4. The pitch. He swings and connects in. This one's headed right for us. And that's a foul. Boy, that'll wake you up. Not that any of us really need it with a game as thrilling as this one. As I said, the current score, the hosting Brookline Warriors 5, the visiting Natick Redhawks 4, here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 1-2 count to Villa, and the pitch misses low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Pagnini fires and misses low again. We've got a full count. Pagnini has already walked one hitter, and now he's in danger of walking another. A full count to Daniel Villa. Winds and delivers, swung on, and he's got a high hopper going up the middle, and that's going to skip away from everybody. Everyone's going to reach safely on a single up the middle by Daniel Villa. Now coming up, the starting pitcher and current third baseman, number 15, Jack Martell. Martell had a big double to deep center his last time up and later came around to score on a double by Jasper Reed. He fouls off the first pitch to the backstop. 0-1 now the count. Jake Levin standing at second, Daniel Villa at first. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And Martell hoping to add to what was originally his cause as this ball misses high for ball 1. As I said, Martell would get the win on the mound today if Brookline manages to hold on. He left the game with a 5-4 lead and turned things over to Levin. The pitch. Low and away. That's ball 2. Pitch. He chops this one foul down the right side. Count will now be 2-2 to Jack Martell. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Brookline 5, Natick 4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pagnini winds and fires. Oh, couldn't stop himself from going around, and that's going to be strike 3. Pagnini had him completely fooled on that one. And so with 2 outs and 2 men on here in the bottom of the 6th, coming up, the center fielder, number 2, Owen Roach. Pitch to Roach. Swung on and missed. That's strike 1. Roach so far has singled up the middle his first time up, lined out to left and lined out to center. This pitch is high for ball 1. So Roach 1 for 3 thus far. And he's hoping for another hit here. He swings and connects. It's a grounder towards the middle, fielded by the shortstop. The throw down to first, and they got him in time. The 6-3 ground out ends the 6th inning. And we are just 1 inning away from finishing regulation. The current score, the hosting Brookline Warriors 5, the visiting Natick Redhawks 4. It looks like Brookline will have another relief pitcher, and it looks like it's going to be number 20, Jasper Reed. So the catcher coming out to pitch as he replaces Jake Levin, who pitched a third of an inning, giving up a walk, a balk, and a line out to left. Not quite sure who's behind the plate, as that's going to be a little harder to tell. Erickson returns back out to the field at second base despite the pinch hit from Daniel Villa. Brookline didn't start the day with any designated hitters, so I guess that's fine. And I'm still having a hard time figuring out exactly who the catcher for Brookline is. That could become very important later. I'll do my best to see what number it is. It almost looked like number 3, which would mean that Ryan Kravitz came in from left field to catch. In which case, where do they put Jake Levin? Because Levin moved from third base to pitcher, and Jack Martell remains at third base. Maybe they put Levin out in the outfield. Richardson is still in right field, and Roach is still in center. I heard the name Ramsey, so I think the new catcher for Brookline is Ramsey Annis. But I don't quite see him on the lineup for today, so I'm really just not sure who it is. Either way, it's Jasper Reed on the mound, hoping to close things out to help Brookline get their first win of this season. Due up first is Carter Duran. And the first pitch misses for ball 1. Pitch from Reed. Misses high for ball 2. Reed's got some speed on his pitches and a pretty quick delivery, but he's got to find the strike zone if he's going to get through this final inning. The pitch misses low, a quick 3-0 count, and once again we are seeing a relief pitcher struggling with control early in their relief outing. Reed, the 3-0 pitch, down the middle for strike 1. Of course, the thing you risk when you have harder throwing pitchers is sometimes the ball gets hit back at you even harder. As this one gets slapped and scoops over Shorgy's head. Out into center field, it's thrown back in by Roach, and Duran has got a single. A hard hit grounder that skips over Shorgy's head off a weird hop right near his glove. And now coming up is a guy with 3 RBIs already. That's Brendan Rodman. The pitch to Rodman in there for strike 1. If there's a batter you've got to get out to try and shift momentum back your way, it's this guy. He's already got a pair of 2-out singles that have brought in a combined 3 out of Natick's 4 runs. Duran takes off. The throw down to second is not going to be in time. And it's an erroneous throw, and Duran's going to go down to third. The tying run is already at third base with nobody out here in the top of the 7th. I believe it is a 1-1 count to Rodman. Duran representing the tying run at third base now. Reed delivers, swung on and missed, and that's strike 2. No, it's strike 3. I was mistaken. The pitch that was a steal on was actually a strike, and so it was an 0-2 count. And so Reed gets him looking. That is a huge out. So now after Rodman, the batter is Griglowitz as he fouls off the first pitch. Griglowitz is, I believe, 0 for 3 so far, and actually I think he might be 0 for 2 with a walk. But he has ended 2 innings so far with a ground out to second and a line out to second as that pitch misses low for ball 1. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Brookline 5, Natick 4. Carter Duran representing the potential tying run at third base. Reed the pitch. They go for a bunt, and he fouls it over the backstop. They were going to try for a squeeze play. And if Griglowitz had gotten underneath it as much as he did, but into fair territory, that could have spelled the end of the game for Natick. Because that could have easily turned into a double play. But instead it'll be a 1-2 count. He's almost lucky that one went foul. Reed winds and delivers the 1-2 pitch. Misses outside. That's ball 2. Kept in front of him by the catcher, who appears to be number 1, someone I don't have on my roster. Can't really tell, as this one is fouled to the backstop. I wish I could tell you who this backup catcher was, because he's playing a very important role already this inning, as anything that gets by him could tie this game up. 2-2 the count to Griglowitz. Reed sets. The 2-2 pitch. Misses low, and that's going to be ball 3. Griglowitz giving him a fight here. 1 out. Tying run at third. 5-4 ball game. Top of the 7th inning. Full count now to Griglowitz. And a timeout called by the batter. He steps back in. Reed checks the runner and sets. Winds the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, and that's out number 2. Big out get right there for Jasper Reed. He is 1 out away from delivering the Warriors their first win of the season. And now coming up for Natick, I think this might be another pinch hitter. Indeed it is. Number 10, Ryan Maltzman. First pitch. Catches the corner for strike 1. Maltzman batting in place of Libby. So he's batting for the backup catcher, Josh Libby. The 0-1 count. Catches the high corner, 0-2. Brookline 1 strike away from something they've been waiting so long for this season. 0-2 the count. Reed winds, delivers. Misses low. That's ball 1. 1-2 the count. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. 1-run ball game. Tying run at third. Carter Duran has been sitting there waiting for someone to bring him in and tie this ball game. No luck so far. 2 outs. 1-2. The pitch. He connects on it. Lines it in through the gap. This is a tie ball game. Ryan Maltzman. Another clutch hit from another pinch hitter. Duran scores, and this game will at least go to the bottom half of the inning. We are tied at 5 apiece. And now coming back up is Jack Byrne, who had a pinch hitter hitting for him last time. That was Matthew Haskell. But they're allowing him to switch back in as the designated hitter. Maltzman leading off from first. The throw back to first. They do not get him in time. The pitch misses outside. That's going to be ball 1. Reed checks the runner at first. Winds and delivers. Catches the zone this time. 1-1 the count. Runner at first. 1-1 the count. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, and the game is now tied. Maltzman takes off. The throw down to second is going to be erroneous again, but well backed up this time by Erickson. And that's part of it. When you bring in your starting catcher as a relief pitcher, you take a bit of a sacrifice on those throws down to second, as Maltzman is the second player to successfully steal. By my count, the count is 2-1. Pitch, and this one is chopped foul down the right side. First strike 2. So you think about it, the switch at catcher has really represented a total of 3 extra bases for Natick so far. You have Duran successfully stealing second, then advancing to third on the throwing error, and then you have Maltzman successfully stealing second. The pitch misses high, and that's going to be ball 3. So a full count to Byrne. Reed winds and delivers the payoff pitch and gets him swinging. That ends the top of the 7th, but not before Natick forces things to keep going. Jasper Reed took over on the mound to start the inning, and Carter Duran led off with a single to center on a hard hop over the head of Rocco Shorgy. A tough bounce on a fast grounder. You really can't call it an error there. There was no way for him to field that. Brendan Rodman struck out looking, and Sean Griglowitz struck out swinging. And of course, in the middle of Rodman's at-bat, Duran stole second successfully and then advanced to third on a throwing error by the catcher. So the situation was 2 outs and a runner at third after the back-to-back strikeouts by Reed. But then Ryan Maltzman, pinch hitting for Josh Libby, hits a single through the left gap to drive in Duran and tie this ball game. Jack Byrne ended it by striking out swinging. And so we'll see who's going to be catching for Natick now, because they just subbed out Libby for the pinch hit. So I don't know if they're allowed to put him back out there. But either way, like I said, that's the risk you take when you bring in your starting catcher as a relief pitcher. Reed, a hard thrower for sure, but they lost 3 bases by not having him behind the plate. And it proved costly as Natick tied this ball game. So if Brookline wants to end this thing in regulation, they're going to have to end it in this half inning. Otherwise, we're going to be going to extra innings. I'm going to see if I can see the jersey number of the current catcher, see if I can get that information properly. That looks to be number 19. So a defensive substitution puts number 19, Carter Duran, the man who scored the tying run. He has now moved behind the plate. And it'll be Rocco Shorgy at the plate. First pitch from Pagnini. Catches the zone for strike 1. Shorgy 0 for 1 today, with, I believe, a strikeout, a sac bunt, a hit by pitch, and a run scored. He fouls this one to the backstop, and he's quickly in the hole, 0-2. A run by Brookline this half inning would be a walk-off. We are currently tied at 5 here in the bottom of the 7th. The 0-2 pitch just misses outside, 1-2. Pagnini the pitch, and he hits him! What is this Rocco Shorgy magic that keeps allowing him to get hit by pitches? Like, what is he doing? Is he crowding the plate? Is he just that good at handling outside pitches and he forces pitchers to go inside? I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, he gets a free trot down to first for the second time today. And now coming up, the relief pitcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. Pagnini checks Shorgy over at first. And now throws to Reed. Reed chops this one into the air. This might stay in play. Rodman's tracking it, and just over the fence. That could have potentially been a pop-up, but instead it's just a safe foul. We got someone warming up for Natick over behind the fence. That is number 33, Charlie Collins. So we might see him later if Pagnini gets into a jam. 0-1, the count to Reed. Shorgy at first. Pagnini checks the runner, winds and delivers. Misses just inside, I believe. 1-1 now, the count to Reed. Pagnini winds and delivers. Catches the high corner this time. 1-2 now, the count to Reed. Five to 5 the score. No one out. Shorgy at first. The 2-2 pitch. He chops this one high into the air. It's being tracked into shallow left. Is it going to be caught? No, it's not going to be caught, but there might be a play at second. No, there isn't. They lost it in the sun. So Jasper Reed reaches on an error by the left fielder, Maltzman. And Shorgy manages to run down to second safely. Now up is Eli Rothman. He's showing bunt. There's the bunt. He lays it down. They're going to try and throw to third. They got him. Smart play at first by Rodman. The rare 3-5 putout. Now coming up is Matt Richardson. He's been the hero once already. Can he be the hero here? He swings, hits a chopper, fielded by the second baseman, thrown to first. That's the second out, but he does advance the runners. So Richardson does what Rothman could not. And so Reed goes to third, Rothman to second. Second and third, 2 outs. And it's Ryan Kravitz getting ready to come to the plate. Kravitz was already the hero earlier today with a spectacular catch out in left field. Can he be the hero at the plate? Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs, tie ball game, runners at second and third. Pagnini steps off the mound. And we're going to have a meeting at the mound. Rocco Shorgy led off with a hit-by pitch. Jasper Reed reached on an error by the left fielder, and Shorgy advanced safely. Eli Rothman tried to go for a sac bunt, but Brendan Rodman played way up and aggressive defensively and managed to throw Shorgy out at third. After that, Matt Richardson grounded out to second, but advanced Reed and Rothman into scoring position. A base hit wins the game. An out sends us into extras. The first pitch to Kravitz is high for ball 1. Pagnini, the 1-0. Misses high again. Kravitz with a relatively small strike zone, and Pagnini is suffering for it. And he's got to be careful because if he throws too low, it might skip past his catcher, this of course being the third catcher that Natick's had today, Carter Duran, and Reed could sprint in from third. This one catches the zone for strike 1, 2-1 the count. Pagnini sets, winds and delivers. Misses just outside, 3-1 the count. I'm on the edge of my seat, even though I'm technically standing up. But what a ball game this has been. The 3-1 pitch to Kravitz. He swings and connects. It's fielded by the third baseman. The throw to first. Will it be in time? It is in time. The 5-3 ground out by Kravitz ends the bottom of the 7th. We are going into extra innings. After 7 innings of regulation, the score, Brookline 5, Natick 5. What an explosive ball game it's been thus far. Both teams trading blows, going back and forth, and coming through with one clutch play after the next. It looks like Jasper Reed will be returning to the mound for Brookline. Still not entirely sure who's behind the plate with him now. And it looks like the relief pitcher, Pagnini, will be batting first. So he'll be batting in the normal batting spot of Noah Sneed, who last time was pinch hit by Schuster. Schuster, of course, hit the solo home run to left. That brought it down to a 1-run ball game and allowed Natick to tie things up in the 7th. Going over the scoring so far today, just really quick if I can get through this. In the top of the 3rd, Brendan Rodman hit a 2-out single to center that drove in David Puigbo and Thomas O'Keefe to give Natick a 2-0 lead. In the bottom of the 4th, Brookline responded. A 1-out double to left by Matt Richardson drove in Rocco Shorgy and Jasper Reed to tie the game. And then 2 batters later, Jake Levin hit a single to shallow right that drove in Richardson from second to give Brookline a 3-2 lead. Natick responded immediately in the top of the 5th as a single to center by Rodman, again with 2 outs, drove in Guini, Mike Guini, to tie things up at 3. And the rest is going to have to wait as Jasper Reed throwing the first pitch to Pagnini. He swings and connects, hits a grounder, fielded, and thrown for the 4-3 out. Easy doing by James Erickson at second base once again. So a 1-pitch out. And now coming up, you can never be sure. Natick has been flipping around their hitters a lot today. Reed, the first pitch, in there for strike one. That is still Puigbo. 0-1 the count to David Puigbo. Pitch. Misses low for ball one. The 1-1 pitch swings and misses. That's strike two. 1-2 the count. Puigbo has been a sneaky, dangerous hitter out of the 9 spot. He's walked twice. And he's come around to score, I believe, once. Reed, the pitch, foul to the backstop, and Puigbo stays alive. We've got some action in the Brookline bullpen. I believe that is number 6, Conrad Wickman. 1-2, still the count to Puigbo. Pitch. Just misses outside, 2-2. Reed already on the hook for the blown save after giving up the lead in the 7th inning. But if Brookline able to turn around and score while he's still on the mound, he would get the win, as there's a strikeout pitch to Puigbo. He goes down swinging, and we've got 2 quick outs. Now coming up is Thomas O'Keefe. O'Keefe, his last time up, walked, but was ultimately stranded. Stranded at second after the flyout by Mike Gwinney. We got a meeting of coaches and officials. So while they sort out whatever they're sorting out, they're trying to figure out whether high school rules put a runner automatically at second base to start off an extra inning, because we are now in extra innings, and there are some leagues that have experimented with that rule. It's a fair question, but it doesn't quite apply here under MIAA rules. Reed with the pitch. Swung on and connected, and this one is driven out to center, and it's going to drop in front of Roach. A single to center by Thomas O'Keefe. So a runner now on for a guy who's been a dangerous hitter thus far, and that's Mike Gwinney. Runner at first, 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. The pitch, and O'Keefe takes off. Pitches low for a ball, and the throw is over everyone's head and into center field, but the runner decides to hold. The backup catcher has been struggling. This is now the 3rd player to steal successfully, and the 3rd attempted throw out down to second that has missed the target. 1-0. Pitch foul to the backstop, so strike one. 1-1 the count. Go-ahead run on second with 2 down here in the top of the 8th. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and connected. This one's going to go out to left. It's going to drop in front of the left fielder, and the runner is going to come around. The throw back in to the infield is not going to be in time, and O'Keefe comes in to score. Natick now has the lead. Now up with 2 down, a runner on first, and now a 1-run deficit is number 19, Carter Duran. We got a meeting at the mound between the pitcher and catcher. Backup catcher whose jersey number I cannot quite read. Reed sets. Delivers. We got another runner taking off. Another throw down to second. This one's more on target, but he just barely slides in safely. Every single runner that has reached base so far for Natick has successfully stolen second since Reed moved to the pitcher's spot back in the 7th inning. The pitch misses low and away. I believe that's ball 2. 2 down, runner at second. Natick with the 6-5 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and chopped over the backstop. That's going to be a foul ball. So if I'm not mistaken, that is a 2-1 count. Wind up in the pitch. Hits the zone there, and that's strike 2. So 2-2 the count. Gwinney stands at second, 2 down, and Natick in control with a 6-5 lead here in the top of the 8th. Pitch. He swings and smacks this one out to deep center. Roach is chasing it, and that's over his head, and that's going to bring in at least 1. Gwinney comes in to score. Duran wheeling his way down to third base with a triple. A triple to deep center by Carter Duran scores Mike Gwinney. Natick now leads Brookline 7-5. And coming up, a man who has already driven in 3 runs, all with 2 outs. That is Brendan Rodman. Pitch from Reed. He swings and smacks this one out to left, and it's caught. Caught in left field. I believe that is Kravitz. And that ends the top of the 8th inning. But 2 runs scored for Natick as they break the tie in the first extra inning. And now for the first time since all the way back in the 4th inning, Brookline is trailing. They have not trailed for most of this game, but now Natick has finally put in the last punch, and they send Pagnini back out there to face the Brookline hitters one last time. Brookline will need 2 runs to keep this game going, 3 runs to win. They've come up with big hits here and there. But certainly 2 runs can still be a pretty big ask. So it's Pagnini back out on the mound. If he finishes this, he would get the win on the mound, and Jasper Reed would wind up with the loss. So it looks like leading off for Brookline will be number 9, who is not on my roster, but I'm pretty sure that is Ramsey Annis. So I believe it is, in fact, Ramsey Annis, who has been the backup catcher. He wasn't on the lineup card that I was given earlier today. But nonetheless, he's played a pretty critical role so far. As Pagnini winds and delivers the first pitch, it's high for ball 1. Annis has had his fair share of struggles behind the plate defensively, allowing a number of stolen bases, but now he can make up for it offensively. Not on that pitch, though, as it's taken for strike 1. 1-1 the count. Pagnini sets, delivers, swung on and connected. This one's grounded over to third, juggled slightly, but then thrown over to first and skips away from the third baseman. And Annis is taking off for second. Ran into the umpire for a bit, but manages to get down to second base off the throwing error. So the E5 allows Annis to get into scoring position. And we've now got Erickson returning to the plate. They subbed in Daniel Villa to hit for him earlier, and he had some success, but they're sending Erickson back to the plate as he fouls to the backstop. Erickson has not had a lot of luck at the plate thus far, but he'll be hoping to break that streak and maybe put a dent in this Natick lead here in extra innings. Annis at second, nobody out. The pitch from Pagnini catches the zone, and that's a quick 0-2 count to Erickson. Pagnini checks Annis at second and delivers. This one is chopped high into the air in the infield, and that one's caught by the second baseman. Probably, yeah. So, first out of the inning as Annis holds at second, and now due up the original starting pitcher who switched over to third base, number 15, Jack Martell. Martell's had one big hit today, and he'll be hoping to get another one here. The pitch misses low for ball one. Ramsey Annis stands at second with one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Brookline trailing Natick 7-5. They need at least 2 runs to keep this game going. Pagnini winds and fires. This one is chopped up into the air, and the catcher is under it, and he doesn't have it. Martell gets away with one there as Natick's third catcher of the day, Carter Duran, could not cleanly field that pop-up in foul territory. So instead of 2 outs, it'll be a 1-1 count to Martell. Pagnini sets, checks the runner, and fires. He chops this one towards the first baseman, and he catches it. So to the top of the order we go. Last hope for Brookline is the center fielder, number 2, Owen Roach. Annis still standing at second. 2 down. Pagnini 1 out away from the win. The pitch catches the zone for strike 1. Owen Roach led off this game with a single up the middle, but since then he's had no luck. A lot of nice contact, but right at the fielders. And he'd certainly like to keep this game going here. The 0-1 pitch is in the dirt, but well defended by Duran. So Annis does not advance, but it will be a 1-1 count. The pitch. Chopped foul behind the backstop. 1-2, now the count to Roach. Brookline down to their final strike. Pagnini delivers. He chops it foul again, just stays alive. A 1-2 count to Owen Roach. 2 outs here in the bottom of the eighth. Ramsey Annis stands at second. Natick stands 1 strike away from winning this game. 7-5, their current lead. The pitch from Pagnini in the dirt and gets away from the catcher, and Annis takes off. Annis advances down to third. And so the runner now stands at third. Of course, the tying run is at the plate as Brookline needs 2 runs to keep this game going. The pitch to Roach. He swings. He chops it high into shallow right center. Coming in. Doesn't catch it. This game will go on. Owen Roach finally places it right where he needed it. A single to shallow right center scores Ramsey Annis. And Brookline trailing by 1 as we now cycle around to Rocco Shorgy. 1 man on, 2 out. Brookline still down to their final out. The pitch to Shorgy. He skips away from the catcher, and Roach is going to take off. The throw down to second, and it goes over everyone's heads. But Roach had to slide in, and so he just holds at second. Wouldn't have been a good chance anyway. So another wild pitch, or pass ball, however you want to call it. And now the tying run is in scoring position. Much more pressurized situation for Pagnini now. Oh, and it looks like the right fielder is calling for a sub. It seems he's injured himself. That is the right fielder, Sean Griglowitz, who was trying to track down that shallow fly ball by Owen Roach. He laid out for it, but could not collect it, and it seems like he hurt his shoulder. So Natick really has been spending an arm and a leg to stay in this game. And so replacing him in right field will be number 33, Charlie Collins. The count to Shorgy is still 1-0. Roach representing the tying run at second base, 2 down. Here in the bottom of the 8th, the pitch. He chops this one up high. This one might be catchable. Rodman going back. He can't get it. He drops it, and it's foul. Just foul. And once again, Brookline surviving by the seat of their pants. The count now 1-1 to Shorgy. That one almost ended the game. Brendan Rodman was backtracking for it, trying to make the hard over-the-shoulder catch. He couldn't do it, but fortunately for him, it dropped in foul territory, and so Roach didn't get to tie up the game. The 1-1 to Shorgy. He swings and slaps this one out to left. This one might bring in the tying run. It's into left center. Roach is coming around third. He's heading for home, and this game is tied again. This game. I don't even know what to say anymore. What more can I say that hasn't already been said? Some unbelievable comebacks on both sides. I don't know about you, but I'm so happy I get to be here for this game as Jasper Reed fouls off his first pitch. Each team has been down to their final out, and each team has successfully tied up the game to keep things going. This is insane. 0-1 the count to Jasper Reed. The pitch, swing and a miss, and that's an 0-2 count. Rocco Shorgy stands at first after heroically tying this game for the Warriors. Reed facing a 1-1 count with 2 outs as a gust of wind blows across the field. And the pitch misses high, and they're going to call a balk. So Rocco Shorgy, representing the game-winning run, moves to second on a balk, and they send Reed to first. Was that an intentional walk? Was that a hit by pitch? What happened? That ball definitely didn't hit him. That had to be an intentional walk. So runners at first and second. I understand the call. You want to force in as many places as you can with 2 outs and the game on the line. Rothman, now the chance to be the hero as the first pitch is low for ball 1. Eli Rothman, his last time up was a failed sacrifice bunt, I believe. This pitch, he slaps it. It's going over the third baseman. Is it going to land fair? It does not land fair. It's a foul ball. That would have been the game right there if that landed fair. This game is single-handedly going to up the heart attack rates in both towns of Brookline and Natick. I mean, this game. 1-1, the count to Rothman. 2 outs. Shorgy, the winning run at second. Reed at first. The pitch misses high for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch. Misses high. That's ball 3 to Rothman. One more ball and he'll load the bases. Three and 1, the count to Rothman. Pagnini checks the runner and fires. He slaps this one high, and Rodman is right under it, and he's going to make the grab. The bottom of the 8th ends, but this game continues. Some heroic hitting by Owen Roach and Rocco Shorgy, as well as some heroic base running by Ramsey Annis after reaching on an error. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live here at Warren Field with this thriller of a high school baseball game. We're heading into the 9th inning. The score tied at 7 apiece. Looks like we've got a new pitcher for Brookline. This is Rocco Shorgy. So Shorgy moves from shortstop to pitcher. Owen Roach moves from center field to shortstop. I'm not sure if Reed moves back behind the plate. The first, second, and third base positions are still all the same. And yeah, it looks like Reed will return back to the catcher position. And out in the outfield, it looks like Richardson is going to move over to left field. And in the meantime, I think Kravitz is moving out to center, and Ramsey Annis will move to right. So a number of defensive replacement, a number of fielding shuffling by Brookline as they are now on their 4th pitcher of the day. They get 5 2/3 innings from the starter, Jack Martell, 1/3 of an inning from Jake Levin, 2 innings from Jasper Reed, and now Rocco Shorgy comes in, facing his first batter. This is Charlie Collins, who took over for Sean Griglowitz in right field after Griglowitz hurt his shoulder trying to field Roach's single to right. The pitch from Shorgy is low. That's going to be ball 1, so 1-1 is now the count to Charlie Collins. The sprinklers are on, and the ball is fell to the backstop. What? That had to have been on a timer or something, or someone hit a button. I don't know if that pitch still counts. I don't know what that was about. I mean, I guess the game has gone on longer than you would have expected. If that pitch counted, then the count is 1-2. If it didn't, it's 1-1. The pitch misses high, and that's definitely ball 2. You know, I wondered what more this game could give me after all we've seen, and apparently inadvertent sprinklers was the answer. We got a fly to left field. It's being tracked by Richardson, and he's got the grab. So Collins flies out to left to start off the top of the 9th inning. And let's see if I can see who's batting now as Shorgy winds and fires. This one fouled to the backstop. Fouled over the backstop, rather. Can't quite see the jersey number. The first base coach is slightly in the way of my view. Shorgy, the 0-1 pitch. This one is popped up high. It's being tracked by Erickson. Called off by Ennis, though, and he makes the grab. So the fly out to right by Ryan Maltzman. So back-to-back flyouts. And now coming up is Jack Byrne. Rocco Shorgy making quick work of this part of the Natick order. The pitch. He slaps this one up the middle for a clean single. Well, jinxed it right there. I said he was making quick work of it, and then the next pitch is for a hit. Jack Byrne representing the go-ahead run at first base, as now coming up is the relief pitcher, Harry Pagnini. Two down, runner at first. And they got Reed back behind the plate, so stealing's not going to be as easy. But he smacks this one out deep to center field. It's being tracked by Kravitz, and he's got it. Some good contact. They've had a lot of nice hits out to center field, but that time nothing doing. Well tracked by Ryan Kravitz. So a fly out to every part of the outfield produces the 3 outs for Natick in the top of the 9th inning. Charlie Collins flying out to left. Ryan Maltzman flying out to right. Jack Burns singling up the middle, and then Harry Pagnini flying out to center to end the inning. And it looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for Natick. So Pagnini done for the day. And it looks like it's going to be number 22, the original third baseman. That's Anton Ciccarelli. So they continue to move some players around. It looks like they might have number 9 over at third base. So Thomas O'Keefe over at third base, in which, yeah, that is O'Keefe over at third base. Not sure who moves to shortstop to replace O'Keefe. Looks like it's number 1. No, it's number 6, Puigbo. So Puigbo moves from second to short. So moving over to second appears to be number 2. Liam Burr. So again, all the defensive shuffling that we see in a late game like this. I do. It's a long name. This is the last name. That's the first name. It's that whole name. So, yeah. Yeah. With your call. Thank you. No, I'm independent. I'm just a volunteer. I don't technically work for him. Yeah. Thank you. First pitch from Ciccarelli is smacked out into the outfield. It's going deep, and that's going to drop, and that's going to go for extra bases. Matt Richardson with his second extra base hit of the day, and he's going to go for 3. He slides in safely, and the winning run is now on third. A triple to deep right center by Matt Richardson. How fitting, the man who drove in Brookline's first runs could be the one to score the last run of this game after a huge hit to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. We're going full MLB length so far with this one, and now coming up to the plate is the man who caught the last out of the top half, except they're going to issue an intentional walk to Ryan Kravitz. An interesting way to start things off as now Ramsey Annis comes to the plate. And they're going to issue an intentional walk to Annis. So 2 intentional walks. They are going hard for the force out. And now the second baseman, James Erickson, returns to the plate. He hasn't gotten a hit yet today, but if there was ever a time, a hit wins the game, a walk wins the game, a wild pitch could win the game. Matt Richardson representing the winning run at third base. Ciccarelli, the pitch to Erickson. It skips to the backstop, and they hold. This is the kind of game makes you can't breathe. Ciccarelli, the pitch. In there for strike 1. 1-1 the count to James Erickson. He's had some nice defensive plays at second base throughout this game, but hasn't produced anything on offense yet. Does he have one in him here? He hits a chopper, fielded by the second baseman. They throw for home, they miss! Brookline wins! The throwing error from second base, and James Erickson walks them off! Matt Richardson scoring the game-winning run. And after a tough 0-9 start to the season, do you think the Warriors would have it any other way? 8-7 the final score. Matt Richardson, who drove in the first 2 runs of the game for Brookline, showing them just what kind of offensive output they could put into this game, ends up scoring the game winner as James Erickson grounds into what would have been a fielder's choice, but the throwing error by the second baseman ends the game. Your final score here at Warren Field: the Brookline Warriors 8, the Natick Redhawks 7. My hat's off to the Warriors. Like I've been saying throughout this game, you know, they endured such a tough start to such a weird season in this year of 2021. 0-9, nothing seemed to be going right. They had a few heartbreakers in that loss, including the 12-11 loss to Needham. And this one seemed like it was primed for heartbreak. They needed one more strike to win and then gave up the tying run to Natick to force extra innings. And then Natick got 2 runs on them in extras and got them down to their last out. But then some late game heroics tied things up and gave them the extra push they needed to finish this game off. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Gonna sum up the scoring here. Through the first inning, there was no score. And through the second inning, there was no score. A pitcher's duel between the 2 starters, Jack Martell and Carter Duran. In the top of the third, Natick got things going. A 2-out single to center by Brendan Rodman brought in David Puigbo and Thomas O'Keefe to put Natick up 2-0. Then we moved to the bottom of the fourth after 2 scoreless half innings, 1 from each team. And in the bottom of the fourth, Brookline put together a rally. Matt Richardson with the first big hit, a double to left that was misplayed by the left fielder, dove for it when he should have let it bounce in front of him. And that play brought in 2 scores, Rocco Shorgy and Jasper Reed, and Brookline tied the game up. Then 2 batters later, Jake Levin blooped a single to shallow right that brought in Richardson from second base and gave Brookline the 3-2 lead. In the next half inning, the top of the 5th, Natick answered right back. It was Brendan Rodman again. Another single to center with 2 outs, and he brought in Mike Gwinney, tying things up at 3 apiece. Score stayed tied through the rest of the 5th inning. Except, no, it didn't. That's my mistake. In the very bottom half of that 5th inning, Brookline responded right away after a leadoff double to deep center by Jack Martell. With 2 outs, 3 batters later, Jasper Reed hit a double down the left field line to drive in Martell and give Brookline the 4-3 lead. And then Eli Rothman hit a single to left to bring in Reed for a very important insurance run to make it 5-3. Natick got a run back in the top of the 6th as we had 3 straight half innings with a run, but this one came off the bat of a pinch hitter, Sam Schuster, who was batting for Noah Sneed. He hit a blast over the left field fence to cut the lead down to 5-4. And then after no score from Brookline in the bottom of the 7th, they just needed 3 outs to end the game. And they got 2 of them, but ultimately another pinch hitter, Ryan Maltzman, hitting for backup catcher Josh Libby. He hit a single through the left gap and brought in Carter Duran to tie things up at 5 apiece and send it into extras. Brookline couldn't answer back in the bottom of the 7th, and in the top of the 8th, it seemed like Natick was going to get the last word in. A single to left by Mike Gwinney drove in Thomas O'Keefe to make it 6-5, and then Carter Duran hit a triple to deep center to drive in Gwinney and make it 7-5. Brookline was quickly down to their last out once again, and their final strike at that. Ramsey Annis only on base because he reached on a throwing error by the third baseman, but Owen Roach came through with the clutch single to shallow right center. Sean Griglowitz made every effort he could to track that ball down, injuring his shoulder in the process. But as a result, Roach drove in Annis to keep the game going at 7-6. Then after Roach advanced to second on a wild pitch, Rocco Shorgy hit a single to left center to drive in Roach and tie the ball game up once again. The game remained tied at 7 apiece. And then in the top of the 9th, Shorgy came in to pitch, the 4th pitcher of the day for Brookline, and he set them down in 4 hitters with 3 flyouts. And then after Anton Ciccarelli took over at pitcher for Natick, Matt Richardson came up with another extra base hit, a triple to deep right center. And then after 2 intentional walks were issued to Ryan Kravitz and Ramsey Annis to put the force at home to try and prevent the winning run, it was James Erickson who hit into a fielder's choice at second base, but a throwing error by the second baseman allowed Richardson to come in and score the game-winning run. The winning pitcher is Rocco Shorgy, the losing pitcher Anton Ciccarelli. Shorgy, the 4th pitcher that Brookline used today. Ciccarelli, the 3rd pitcher that Natick used. A down-to-the-wire, blow-for-the-blow, wild contest that had everything. Clutch hit after clutch hit, crazy pinch hit heroics, a home run in a high school game, the sprinklers coming on accidentally. This game had everything. It's not an exaggeration to say that. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. And before I sign off, if you like my broadcasts, you want to stay up to date on them, you can follow me on social media. You'll see the links to my Facebook and Instagram pages in the description of this video. And while I am enjoying the chance to do this as a volunteer, if you're feeling generous, you can make a donation. I have a PayPal and a Venmo. The links are also in the description there. And if you have interest in me producing any highlight videos, perhaps of this exciting game right here, that is also a service I offer. I charge about $100 for a highlight video if you want one produced. And you can reach out to me through that. My email is jgms88@gmail.com. Once again, jgms88@gmail.com. For the last time here at Warren Field, your final score after 9 innings of baseball: the Brookline Warriors 8, the Natick Redhawks 7. The Warriors get the monkey off their back in the first win of the season, and I think they're all ready to go home happy, and so am I, and I hope so are you. That'll do it here. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.